Welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm Kathleen Walter. The 2011 U.S. House freshman class has converged on Washington for orientation. Newsmax senior editor David Patton is there and interviewing the members-elect.
Welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm David Patton, and we're delighted to be joined by Senator-elect Rand Paul of Kentucky. Congratulations on your big win, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Remarkable win. Now, in your victory speech, you remarked,
"We've come to take our government back."
I was curious, after a couple of weeks here during the transition, seeing how things work on the inside, do you believe, sir, that job of taking our country back will actually perhaps be even a little bit bigger than you expected during the campaign?
I think it's an ongoing process, and my goal here is to try to form a nucleus of some of the newcomers and some of those who are here who agree with what the Tea Party movement's been about. And it's really about including people from the country in that movement. It's a grassroots movement. So my idea is to have a Tea Party caucus that communicates with the grassroots, that invites the grassroots to Washington, that doesn't meet in a cloakroom and smoke cigars, but really is open to the public and gets information and ideas from the Tea Party and transmit back to the Tea Party what we're trying to do to correct the problems here.
Now, there's been talk in the House about ratcheting spending back to the 2008 level. Do you think 2008 goes far enough to begin to address this terrible fiscal budget situation we have?
It's at a minimum. I mean, we have to address the deficit. I think what concerns me is that you hear people on both sides of the issue, Republicans and Democrats, saying that it's a threat to our national security, which means that the deficit is so large that can we continue to even fund the things we need to do, like national defense? That means we need to address it immediately. We need to be serious about it, and it probably means going back beyond 2008. But it really means you have to look at the entire budget. You can't just look at discretionary spending. You have to look at the entire length, breadth, and width of the budget.
Talking about looking at that whole budget, there are some members of the GOP who are in favor of, if necessary, actually allowing the government to be shut down rather than just raise the debt ceiling without corresponding cuts in spending. What's your take on that, please?
I think shutting down the government's a mistake. Nobody really wants that. That's sort of government by chaos, and what you really want is government where we say, we have several months to discuss this. Let's go ahead and have a budget. And in January sometime, I will introduce a budget that is balanced. We'll give them a choice, balance it in 1 year, balance it in 2 years. We're going to give them a choice, but I think balancing it over a 30 or 40-year period is not reasonable. And I think we may not have 30 or 40 years to balance the budget before we have a crisis in our country.
One of the things you were really critical of during the campaign was this anti-business rhetoric that we saw coming out of the Obama administration.
Right.
Talk of keeping the boot heel on the necks of BP. Right. Wall Street people are all fat cats, attacking the Chamber of Commerce. I'm curious, your view, do you think at this point that there's really anything that can be done by the president, by the administration, to repair that relationship with the business community at this point?
Everywhere I went throughout Kentucky, small business, big business, all businesses would come up to me and say they feel like there's a war on business coming out of Washington. All the new regulations from Obamacare, all the new banking regulations, they don't feel like there's a friendly environment for business. So I think that we do need to reform and change the attitude. I'm not sure if they can change it or whether it will require a new president, but they need to hear that message, because there was a message loud and clear from this election saying business is afraid of what's going on in Washington.